Let's quickly also talk about a talking point of Ademola Lookman from a Nigerian point of view. He gives credit to Nigeria since switching camp. I remember he featured for England on the 17 side, and at that point won the World Cup with the English side, but a switch camp and moved to Nigeria. And he said since joining Nigeria, everything has been on the upward pedestal. Remember his debut game against Ghana, the World Cup qualifiers, it was a debut for him.
Yeah.
What a debut he had, because
2022.
Absolutely. Absolutely, that was a terrible outing for him. Ademola Lookman, fast forward 2 years after, he's become an African Footballer of the Year. The first player born outside of Nigeria that's become an African Footballer of the Year. I think you want to talk about some players that featured for Nigeria who were born outside. One key name that really played was Osaze Odewengi. Despite also playing in the Nigerian Premier Football League at the time, being the best player in the Nigerian Premier Football League, but he was born outside of the country. But he's the first Nigerian to win an African Footballer of the Year, being born outside the country. The rest have been local boys.
2 years after he was, of course, he changed his allegiance to Nigeria, he won the CAF Best Player.
Yeah.
So it certainly shows you the rapid rise of the man Ademola Lookman, how he's been able to, of course, stamp his authority. You know, over time we've talked about the complexity of African football and how, of course, difficult it is, most especially from some European folks to come in and, of course, adapt immediately. But we've seen Ademola Lookman adapt quickly and also ensuring he stamps his authority. I feel at the moment he's also right to a large extent, because I do not still feel Ademola Lookman being invited to the English national team, you know, quite often, most especially if he has a terrible performance. I could go on and on to mention many Nigerians who have been dropped. Tammy Abraham, one of the man. Gabriel Abolahon, who's been talking badly about some, of course, players of African descent in recent times. He was dropped after a very terrible performance for the English national team. So I feel Ademola Lookman had that.
Question would even be, was he even given an opportunity? Looking at a pool of players, not necessarily about a terrible performance. Agbonlaha, as Aston Villa
at some point
became the captain of the side.
Similar to
he
what?
had one cap or thereabout, and the next it's out.
Similar
to who you're talking about, Tammy Abraham.
Tammy Abraham too.
He's not really given a chance. Tomorrow.
He was given a chance.
Come on a bit.
I could recall in his first regular season with Chelsea.
Yeah.
He played for the English national team.
We see some players with the national team.
Now, what I'm saying is, for Ademola Lookman now, after that terrible performance in his debut for Nigeria, they kept calling him to the national team. And that gave him that platform, gave him that opportunity to be explored by other European club sides. So it would have been a different case if he still played for the English national team. So I think it has been on an upward for the man Ademola Lookman, and that particular decision to play for Nigeria played a huge factor.
All right, a good decision to play. You're going to go in that, but I want to have a conversation from another angle now. We've seen some players. We're looking at the importance of a national team for lots of footballers. I put that side by side. We see some players join Nigeria, and their career sort of sparkle, which means the national team should be giving more players even of home decent opportunity at the highest level, because it could help them develop. Let's look at a case study, Victor Moses. The moment Victor Moses also joined Nigeria, became such a better player, despite not starting games for Chelsea, and his career dwindled the moment he stopped playing for Nigeria. He said, I don't want to feature for the national team again. Put that side by side, the importance of a national team.
Well, honestly, I would like to say the national team plays a very huge role, you know, in the players', career, because when you are playing for your national team, you could go to, international tournaments, and you'll definitely be seen by scouts, international scouts, and other clubs would come in for you. Look at the likes of Harry Maguire. I am very sure if Harry Maguire was not playing regularly for England, he would not be at Manchester United by now, because at a point he was totally frozen out of the Manchester United.
Absolutely.
But he kept being called back to the
Southgate kept calling him.
Absolutely.
And he'll play and he'll perform a little bit good, and he was still, being kept in that mix. So that's the importance of our national team. And also we talked about Karim Adeyemi, this particular one in INUT.
Yeah, he's in the country.
A very beautiful player. I love the boy, but he's played, I think, about twice for Germany or so.
Second fiddle now.
He still has a chance to come to Nigeria. I'm using this opportunity to tell him, come to Nigeria. A beautiful player. He reminds me of...
I think that there are some complications about Karim Adeyemi coming to Nigeria. At the time that he was supposed to come, the rules had changed. He had to be born at a certain age, a certain year, where FIFA had made those changes, and that stalled him from returning to Nigeria. He wanted to come to Nigeria. As it stands, except the rules are reversed, I do not think he'll feature for Nigeria anymore.
Terrible decision by the man.
Terrible situation for Karim Adeyemi.